I think I let out negative energy anytime I saw Mason Plumlee touch the basketball last night. Good God, Doug. I mean,
you said you made your wins face, and you weren't brave enough to put it on Twitter, but I'm going to put you on the spot now. Yeah. What was your wins face? What did that look like?
You brought me to a place where
I'm going to put you full screen. Let's see. Let's show the people. Show the people the wins face.
All right. Anytime. It was more of a just like, this is going to be a disaster. It was like this. All right, here we go. That's what it was like.
Do it again. Again, you can only see this if you go to YouTube.
Yeah, it was brutal. That's all I'm giving you, though. Like, you try to see, I'm just trying to throw out my opinions, and then you want to play this game. And of course, you're Doug Branson, so you're going to put a picture out there. I was just trying to fire out some opinions.
The guy with the big W on his head.
Was bad offensively, though. Like, I mean, you saw him hit a couple shots or whatever, but why last night was it more apparent every time he touched the basketball? It got knocked away. There was one time he tried to drive. I forget who was guarding him, but all you did was see a deflection, goes out of bounds. Thank God it sticks with the Charlotte Hornets. But he gets 28 minutes. PJ gets 19, and that's what I was wanting to talk about, Doug. Like, this PJ Washington shooting streak or non-shooting streak,
good.
It is brutal. Here's the thing. He goes out yesterday with, I think, a hip flexor, if I'm not mistaken, would not return once he exited that contest. I've talked about this before. PJ Washington, man, when he comes back from injuries, he comes back hot.
You're like weirdly happy that
I'm
he
not
has
happy.
This
Listen,
hip injury.
We are not
Good
putting
God.
that out
What
there.
are you doing? What are you doing right now?
We are not putting that out there. Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. What I'm telling you is that history shows
I'm making my wins face
when
now.
PJ Washington comes back from these injuries, for some, I think it just might be, I don't know if he's tired. I don't know if he just needs some kind of break, whatever. When he comes back from these stints, he sits out a couple of games. He comes back, and the bad shooting streak, it goes away. I hope that happens here. I hope, one, he's healthy enough to come back, but that's something we've seen with PJ because it's gotten bad, Doug. Like, the defense, it's what keeps him on the floor.
Do you want the stats? Do you want the numbers?
They're going to be putrid, like the last 10 games or so.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at January, so that goes back to the Detroit game where they blew Detroit out. So that's 3, 6, 7 games. The last 7 games, averaging 5 points on 32.5% shooting.
It's better than I thought.
And 18.2% from 3. Just to show you like how crazy that is, if you go back to December, the month of December, he was shooting 42% from the field, 37% from 3, 11.5 points per game. And, I mean, he only had 3 games in December where he scored under 10 points. He's only scored over 10 points in 1 game in January in those 7 games, and that was the blowout win against Detroit. So it is not good.
Yeah, and we've talked about him more so just because of how well he's played defensively, but the shooting.
Two blocks in this game against Boston, and one of them was just a monster block.
Yeah, he's definitely been very good, but at this point, the bad shooting is too bad to ignore. Like, hopefully it fixes itself. I want to talk about Terry, too, real quickly before we talk about the magnitude of this win even more so. I think the W on your head has spoken for that more so throughout the show.
Big dub. Stang'n.
So, one of the things that we talk about with Terry Rozier and the difference last season compared to the first few years in the league, it was the 2-point percentage, right? The fact that he wasn't useless once he stepped inside the 3-point arc anymore. Right. He shot 50%. He shot over that. That's continuing this season. And I think what's impressive, Doug, is you're starting to see him hit these fadeaways. You're starting to see him hit these high arcing shots, get his shots over the big trees down low consistently. I mean, it's been impressive. Like, he's getting to the rim, but he's not like finishing with, he's not more physical or anything like that. He's just so much more confident hitting shots in the paint from about 10 feet, maybe 8 to 10 feet out. And that's what's been awesome to see. Still not the greatest decision maker in the pick and roll. It's about 50-50 whether you're going to get a good decision from him or not. But he's going to take the shot. And he's going to hit it now. And I think that's what's helped him so much advance his game as his career's gone.
Well, and off ball, it just seems like he's always in position to knock down a shot. And so, when you're playing with someone like LaMelo Ball who can move a defense with ease and attracts attention, to be able to put yourself off ball in a position where you can make a play, I think has been incredible. And for those that remember the beginning of the season and how much, talk about PJ struggles now, it was similar with Terry Rozier early in the season because he was coming off those ankle injuries, but he's fully healthy. He's fully confident. He understands exactly what his role is on the team. Played big minutes in this one against his former team in the Garden, and just spectacular. Certified gamer. Can't speak highly enough of Terry Rozier. It also, Walker, we can talk about how big this win, but I think people get how big this win is. I mean,
it was huge. All right, good. We talked.
Yeah,
about
it was a huge dub. That's why I'm wearing a W on my head. That's why I'm wearing the win cap, because
he just really likes me. It's the W's for Walker.
Yeah, and it puts them. What it essentially does is now it has separated them from the tier of people who are contending for the play-in, and it puts them right in position to challenge Cleveland, Philadelphia, who they've proven they can beat, and Milwaukee, who they've proven they can beat, and they beat Cleveland already too. So it puts them right in that prime position. They're a game and a half back of sixth, and with the schedule, if you look at the schedule coming up, a lot of winnable games. I'm not, after that Orlando loss, I'm not going to say guaranteed victories, but the winnable games if they stay focused. So this was a huge win. But if you'd like, I can read you some of the answers to my tweet about Miles Bridges. If he's going to be the guy you can throw to and get a bucket late, throw in Kelly Oubre. If he's going to be a guy who knocks down big shots and can get to the rim, do you need Gordon Hayward? I put that on Twitter last night. I've got a lot of replies.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
And likes. I got a lot of likes too, 46 likes. But that's not the point. This isn't about me. This is about the fans and the question. Nada, our friend, said this year, yes, you do need Gordon Hayward.
Okay.
Ross says the New York game looked like they could just run the whole offense through Miles in tight spots. Maybe an outlier game, but every time he got the ball up, good things happened. So I guess we're going to count Ross in the no, we do not need Gordon Hayward category. Casey says, interesting. I've often wondered what we could get for Hayward. I think you can get Sabonis, which would, I think, be a big bonus for the Charlotte Hornets at this point.
A Sabonis bonus is what you want?
I think that's a double bonus. I used to do a podcast called The Double Bonus. But again, this isn't about me.
Of course not.
This
it's not about you. How many listens did you get on that Double Bonus podcast? You want to talk about that? You want to talk about how great it was?
We got a couple. Career? We got a few. It was early in my podcasting career.
Now here you are.
I was learning the ropes. Yeah, look how far I've come. I'm at the top of the podcast mountain. I'm wearing a big W on my head. And B antennae.
That's you now.
I think that's the plural of it. I don't think it's antennas. I think it's antennae. You learn things on this show.
It's an AE at the end.
Right.
It's antenna with an AE at the end. One other thing I wanted to mention. It's just such a profound point I wanted to talk about before we ended today's show. I do think it's awesome at the end of games where Terry Rozier and LaMelo Ball will both discuss how they allow the other one to take turns on, okay, it's your turn. Go ahead and make a big bucket. Go ahead and try to make a play. It's funny to see that play out in real time when they're both in the backcourt. LaMelo will give it to Terry. Terry will size up the defense. LaMelo, it's your turn. Like, you get to see those guys actively try to work that out, which has to be frustrating, borderline disrespectful for the defense. Like, no, you guys have to run something. Like, there's got to be something a little more interesting you guys have to do. But LaMelo's like, nah, Terry, you got this one. Are you sure? Like, LaMelo, you got it. Okay, I'll take this one. You saw that a little last night in some crunch time possession.
They perfectly complement each other where you can run like two-man guard game. The two-man game is usually reserved for the big and the guard, but you can run a two-man big, or you can run a two-guard two-man game here with LaMelo and Terry. It's super fun to watch, and I'm glad like sharing is caring, and it's that's the cool thing is like LaMelo and Miles and Terry, it just seems like they all like each other. And I think that's a good thing. And I think Gordon, I think all of them, I don't think there's a single player on this team that they're not cheering for. Even Mason, as much as Mason struggled this year, I think people are happy, on this team when Mason succeeds in some way when that does happen.
Well, I think LaMelo was asked during a halftime interview, something like that. LaMelo shouted out Terry and Miles being like his best friends, and then there were some people who was like, wait, what about the other people? Which, it's fine, it's whatever. But Miles Bridges, Terry Rozier, I think clearly are the closest guys to LaMelo Ball and vice versa, and you see that play out on the court. It's awesome to see. All right, thanks for making Locked On Hornets your first listen every single day. Fun Friday tomorrow. Is David Walker joining us once again? Do we know about that for sure?
I think so. I think it's going to be a fun Friday. I think it's going to be a Hive Live. I think we're going to live the Hive life.
Okay.
I think it's all going to happen.
Hive Live We're going to get it figured out eventually. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets is hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you to close out the week tomorrow.
Big dub!